I'm Dan Hernandez. I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode of Sport Fishing. Well, today we'll be fishing aboard the new Huck fin. It's a sport fisher that operates daily out of Fish Emeryville, located in Emeryville, California, Emery Marina. And what we're going to be doing today is we're starting off fishing for sand dabs. And that's what these little fish are these guys are catching right now. We're going to use these sand dabs for bait. Let me sell those real quick.
Yeah, big one, Mike.
So these are the sand dabs right here the guys are catching. And these will be used as live bait when we go to a different area for lingcod. And that's today's goal. Is we're going to look for lingcod, probably going to go do some rock fishing too. And all these little sand dabs here are going to end up like in Southern California, what you use for sardines and anchovies. These sand dabs work out really good for the lingcod. And the reason they use the sand dabs is if you stop and use a little anchovy down in the bottom, you're going to catch a rockfish every time. But the sand dabs are so big, the rockfish can't eat them, but the lingcod love them. So that's the goal today. Go look for some lingcod. So stay tuned for this week's exciting episode of Sport Fishing. Thanks, guys. I'm Dan Hernandez, and I live to fish.
All right.
I have been fishing along the Pacific coast my entire life.
Oh!
Let me bring you in the action and share with you some great fishing tips along the way.
Keep reeling. You got her. We got to straighten that mess out when we're done here. Got a little too much on there. It's down there somewhere. Keep going. There you go. Keep going. You're almost at the limit. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. Perfect. All right. There you go. Sand dab king. Pull them off now. There you go. Here, hold the rod.
Hey guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about the difference with live bait fishing. It's not always like this, but when you're lingcod fishing up here in Northern California, one of the things I want to show you the difference between Southern California and Northern California. In Southern California, we always have anchovies or sardines for live bait, maybe a mackerel occasionally. Up here in Northern California, when you're targeting lingcod, you really don't want to use anchovies or sardines because all the rockfish up here will just eat them. So up here in Northern Cal, right now we're on the new Huck fin, they like to use sand dabs. So looking here, the guys are catching sand dabs, and that's what these are here, sand dabs. And we're gonna go ahead and use these and put hooks in them. They look like baby halibut, but they're not. They're actually a rockfish. They're sand dabs. And they like to use two hooks, a hook up here and a treble hook back here. Drop these down to the bottom and use them for the lingcod. And again, the reason for all these sand dabs is because if you just dropped an anchovy or sardine down there, all you're gonna catch is more rockfish, lots of rockfish. So just one of the differences between Southern California and Northern California. Don't be surprised if the skipper says on the way out to fishing grounds, we're gonna stop and fish for sand dabs, and this is why, because the lingcod. You wanna go target the lingcod, bigger baits, bigger fish, and you guys are catching them here. They're all using rigs here with them, and the bait wells here are just loaded with sand dabs that we're gonna use for bait.
Bud Light.
We got fish on, baby. This is what dreams are made of. Fairlawn Islands, sand dabs. Give me my Lingcod. Come on, baby. Come on.
I've hooked into something. Nice.
Man. Yeah. One for Dan. Fishing with Dan Hernandez, boys. Good job, buddy.
They are starting to bite here, the Lingcod. So you have a choice. You can either go live bait or go artificials. And since the limit's 2, I thought I'd try to do the artificial thing. Let's see what I got here. Should have color soon. I'm fishing 50-pound test Spectra, 40-pound test mono. No need to use fluorocarbon when you're fishing this deep, 300 feet. Starting to go up and down now, so it should be pretty close. There's color. There's a nice one right there. There you go. Beautiful fish right here. That's the B52 Bucktail right in his mouth there. That's a beautiful, beautiful fish. We're fishing here with Captain Jay and the crew here aboard the new Huck fin and using a B52 Bucktail. Quality jig like this worked out really good. Beautiful, beautiful Lingcods. All right, let's take a little break from the action here and go to the tackle box and give you a good look at the gear you need for this kind of fishing. This week in the tackle box, I want to talk to you a little bit about what we're doing today. Basically rock fishing, and it doesn't matter if you're fishing along the coast or off at the island, it's the same technique. Now, what I'm going to be talking to you about is about shallow water rock fishing, that 100 to 250 feet of water. For the deeper rock fishing, it's basically the same, just going to be using bigger sinkers. Now, for this type of fishing in that shallower water, you can get by with a low profile reel like this, 400 series, have either 50 or 65 pound Spectra as your main line, and you don't need a lot of leader on top of it. Don't use fluorocarbon, but you can just use regular mono, like 30-pound mono on top. Normally about the length of your rod is all you need. You want to have as much Spectra as you can so you fill every little nibble when you're down fishing that deep on the rockfish. A nice rod like this works out really nice, either a medium action or a medium heavy action for that bottom fishing. Works out nice, and this Californian rod does that fine. So the jigs that we like to use when we're concentrating on getting a limit of rockfish, we want to get those 10 fish right away. What I like to use is 2 B52 Bucktails, 1 ounce models. I like the glow in the dark and the chrome, but all the colors will actually work. And what I like about the Bucktail is that if your bait comes off, the pulsating action of the Bucktail is still going to attract the fish. You'll catch rockfish on these no problem. I catch lings on these too when I'm trying to catch a rockfish. The lings will eat these, and it works out really nice. Again, it only depends on how deep you are, on the size sinker you use. If you're in that deep water over 300 feet, have a 16-ounce sinker on. Sometimes when you're in 200 feet and you have ripping current, you're still gonna need a 16-ounce sinker. So make sure you have sinkers with you from 10 ounces up to 16 ounces. You never know what the skipper is gonna do, if he's gonna go shallow or go deep. You're gonna need different sinkers with you. Now the other thing you can do too is use a magic metal jig. Just bounce it off the bottom. In that shallower water, about 100 feet, you can use a 4.5 ounce model will work out good. Hit the rock, swim it back a little bit, let it flutter. The lingcod, the rockfish, will eat it. Works out really nice. And if you get in that deeper water, 200 to 300 feet, then you're gonna need a 10-ounce model. Same thing. In that deeper water, I really like the glow-in-the-dark colors. Seem to work out best for me. And again, hit the bottom, swim it back about 3-4 cranks, stop it, and let it flutter down. And the lingcod and the rockfish will hit it either as it's starting away or when it flutters back down for it. When you get bit, you're gonna feel it instantly with that spectra line, crank on it, set the hook on the fish, and then just bring it up. The other jig you can use too, if you strictly want to target lingcod, go ahead and put on a 6-ounce B52 Bucktail with the large AA grub on there. White grub seems to work out best for me. Sometimes I try the red one too, but I catch way more fish on the white grub. Just bounce this off the rocks. Works fine up to 150 to 300 feet of water. Just let it flutter in the current down there on the bottom. Lingcod, the big reds, they really like this kind of lure. Well, this is the basic gear you need for this type of fishing. Let's get back on the water and show you more exciting action right here on Sport Fishing.
There you go, bud. You got your lingcod. There he is. Tell him. With Dan Hernandez. Thank you,
Nice,
Dan.
Dan. Thank you.
Another one going here. Still working the same bucktail. Sounds like we got 5 or 6 going right now around the boat. Just phenomenal fishing. This is an area that just recently opened up by Fish and Wildlife. It was a restricted area before. Now it's been opened up this year, and it's really showing its impact. This area's got a bunch of fish here, and guys are doing really good today. It's just a lot of fun. Here he goes. Here's the color.
Oh, nice one, man.
There you go. Beautiful, beautiful lingcod on the bucktail. This is Captain Jay from the new Huck Fin. Been fishing with him about 15 years now. He introduced me to this type of fishing up here on Emeryville. You know, today I'm using a B52 bucktail. Most of the other guys are fishing live sand dabs, and the first time you taught me how to do that with the live sand dab, I was so shocked. I didn't know you guys really use those for bait.
You guys used to eat them for
That's all we did
for
with them.
dinner, and we used them for bait. So yeah, they work very well.
And your operation runs daily out of Emeryville.
Yes.
It's called Fish Emeryville now.
Fish Emeryville.
Is the name of landing.
Or they can check me out newhuckfin.com or on Facebook, New Huck Fin.
Yeah, and Jay's really good about posting pictures every day. Again, this is what I was using, B52 bucktail with a single AA grub. That lingcod jumped all over it.
Oh, there he is.
Double trouble with Dan Hernandez.
One I caught on the last trip.
Wow. Nice fish, man. Fishing with Dan Hernandez, new Huck Fin, Emeryville, California.
Ah, nice double. The coolest thing about rockfish is like 80 species, so you never know what's gonna come up. This is great. These are great. Nice yellow.
Try to bring it over. I got it. I'm gonna get it all. Fishing with Danny, Oakland, California. Good fishing.
Fishing with Dan Hernandez on the new Huck Fin.
Right there. There's a fish coming in right here behind me.
Another nice rockfish. Fishing with Dan Hernandez. New Huck Fin.
Have a couple more rockfish going. Just working that bucktail. Nice and easy. Just wind them up. Let's see what I got here. Fishing here has been really, really good. Let's see what we got going here. Those are the nice heavy ones. I'm going to limit out so fast here. I think I'm going to go to a single jig after this. Let's see if we can get these two up here right now. There they are. Okay, let me get these fish in. It's really important when you get fish like this, you don't bounce them. These are big rock fish, and you got a big sinker. Again, those are 1 ounce B52 bucktails. Just fishing them straight up and down. No bait on them. Quality fish. This is why you come out here, fish out of Emeryville. Come fish on a new Huck fin, catch quality fish like this. Come fish with Captain Jay. Let's take a break from the action and let's go to the galley and show you how to cook up these delicious fish we're catching. This week in the galley, I want to do a simple ceviche dish for you with rockfish. A lot of people are always asking me, can you do ceviche with rockfish? And yes, you can. This is some chucklehead, some whitefish, different rockfish I've caught. Just put it all together, mix it in here. This is a traditional ingredient that goes in most ceviche dishes. There's always some limes and lemons. And you can see how it's already changing the color of the fish. It's already getting lighter from just the juices hitting it. Most people will just add the lemon and lime, but to change things up a little bit, what I like to do is add orange. So I got some oranges here. You wouldn't think adding an orange would make a big difference, but it totally changes the flavor. Now, some of the other ingredients that I like to add, I like to put bell peppers and chilies. So these are some serrano chilies. And you can just put serrano chilies up to as hot as you like it. This is red and green bell peppers, some tomatoes, some fresh cilantro. Gotta always put that in there. And some red onions. I like to add a little salt. And all those ingredients, the flavor is going to go right into the fish. And you can see how this fish has already changed colors just in a couple of minutes we've been doing this. And this is the finished dish. This is what it looks like. Again, if I was at home or if I was going to eat this later, I would throw this in the refrigerator for 2 hours, let all those juices cook in there, but you can already see how much the juices have already penetrated the fish, how it's changed the color, and it's already ready to eat. Just going to take a little bite here. That is delicious. It's just a really simple dish you can do with your rockfish. Just make a ceviche dish from rockfish, add these ingredients, and you won't be disappointed. All right, let's get back on the water and show you more exciting action right here on Sport Fishing.
Nice. Fishing with Dan. Get the fish. Oh, they've been coming out. He's very good. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a trade out right there. That's gonna be a trade out with one of these cats in there.
Fishing with Dan Hernandez on the new Huck fin at the Farallon. Don't get better than this.
See what I got here. There it is, this color. Double. Here we go. We call these ones Johnny Bass. Up here they call them yellowtail. Two beautiful fish fishing that B52 Bucktail, 1 ounce on the bottom, no bait. That's how many fish there are here. It's so wide open. Let's take a little break from the action, and when we return, I'll be giving you this week's tip of the week. For this week's tip of the week, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I caught all the fish today. Those big lingcod I got, they came on using a B52 Bucktail 6-ounce model. That was a glow-in-the-dark with the white bucktail on there with a white AA single tail grub. Big grub on there for those big fish. That's how I got those big lingcod. My smallest lingcod was about 15 pounds. Those were just awesome fish to catch on the big bucktail. The small rockfish I got on 1 ounce B52 bucktails with a 16-ounce sinker on the bottom. And then most of the other lingcod that the guys caught were by using those sand dabs. Sand dabs for live bait worked out really, really good. Well, we had perfect weather today. It's the nicest weather I've ever seen up here, and the lingcod fishing today was just phenomenal. I want to thank Captain Jay, the whole crew of the new Huck Fin. This was lots of fun. If you've never ever tried fishing up here, you really got to try it. Well, I'm Dan Hernandez, hoping you enjoyed this week's episode of Sport Fishing, and I hope you join us again next week as we go looking for more of the best in sport fishing.